folks, like, what about our veterans, Lauren? Because you're talking about lots of cuts and how to pay for things. I think if you're going to be America first, you can't put veterans last. So I do just want to point to your vote that you voted against care for veterans exposed to cancer-causing toxins and burn pits during war. So we definitely have different priorities, because I believe we should take care of our veterans, always.
Are you done? Okay. So when it comes to our veterans, I have absolutely put them first. In my first year, we were in the minority, and unfortunately, not all the legislation was great. And the omnibus bills have put in something really beautiful for our veterans. But again, not voting for something that we have 22 hours to read that's over 2,000 pages long. And when it comes to our veterans, I have returned hundreds of millions of dollars to my constituents, which include veterans who have been strangled by red tape and bureaucracy and unable to get the benefits and the care that they needed. I was able to step in for 2 veterans in my district who were not appreciated for their service and give them their Purple Hearts that they deserved to have. One waited about 50 years, the other one waited over 2 decades. Our service members are a priority for me. I have the Pueblo Jobs Act. I fought to give them a raise in the National Defense Authorization Act that was signed into law, and I have multiple amendments that increase care for our veterans. If you'd like to see what I've done, go to my website, boebert.house.gov, and go to the Getting Things Done tab, and you can see exactly what I've done in working for our veterans.
The folks in this room they're not foolish.
I'm not spending $600 billion forever because we couldn't get a couple pieces of language right in legislation. Just because a bill is on the floor does not make it the only option. I fought that we could have amendments on the House floor. When that bill first came up, I was in the minority, and amendments were closed on the House floor. I could not give a Colorado voice to the men and women who have served in our military on that legislation. Because
that was one piece of legislation. What about cuts to the VA? You proposed significant cuts to the VA that would hurt veterans, caregivers, their families. It would hurt homeless vets. It would hurt telehealth for vets. Don't sit here and tell us that you voted against one bill that you are somehow for veterans. No, thank you. That's the only bill. There are many things that we can reform and get right within the federal government and our legislation and our spending. How about you go and actually speak to a veteran and ask them how difficult it is to get the care when the VA has $40 billion a year in their annual budget, and see how difficult it is. And unfortunately, we have Democrats that we are fighting on a regular basis who want universal health care, who want a single-payer system. Well, ask the federal government ask the veteran how good the federal government is at taking care of their health needs. They get in the way more than anything, and we need to bring choice back to our veterans so they can go to the doctor of their choice, the clinic, the hospital of their choice, and receive the care that they need without being on waiting lists, without the red tape, without even having to call their member of Congress to cut through all of that just to be seen. That's great. That's great. Those are all things that Representative Boebert benefited from when she had her own medical emergency. Right? You got to telehealth the doctor, you got to go into a hospital on a road that worked. Why shouldn't our veterans have the same?
All right.
So I'm fighting for that.